Now, if people are listening and they're like, okay, there's a lot here, right? That magnesium impacts a ton, and I could take my supplements. But if we were just to recap, like, what are the 3 or 4 steps that you would do to improve the magnesium levels in your body? What would you say to them?
Number one, make sure you're getting a good amount of animal foods in the diet.
Mhm.
Don't eat too much high fiber because then your magnesium requirement could go over 500 milligrams per day just to stay in balance. If you can, try to drink some water that contains magnesium, whether it's, a natural spring water or a mineralized water. That's a good non-calorie way to get magnesium in the body. And most people are lacking anywhere between 150 to 300 milligrams of magnesium. So taking about 100 to 150 milligrams of magnesium twice a day is probably a good way to just hedge your bets to ensure that you're at least not in negative, magnesium balance.
You mentioned fiber there and trying to minimize it. I feel like so much of what's out there in information about diets is like high fiber. It's good for you. It's good for gut microbiome. It's good for this. But there's that other side of it, right? That you're speaking too much isn't. And I've seen this with people that too much fiber is not necessarily good. We're told that, but it's not true. What is your feelings on that push for like a high fiber diet?
Yeah, I mean, there is some data that having some fiber might help to offset a little bit of, some of the harms, potential harms of animal foods, speeding up the GI tract transit time, so decreasing the time that some toxins may sit in the intestine. But the reality is you got to try it out yourself. A lot of people that start eating high fiber foods, particularly grains, they're more bloated, they're having worse diverticulitis, they're having worse cramping, etc. So I think it from the literature, it kind of looks better than what it kind of plays out in the real world.
Yeah, and it comes back a lot, I guess, Dr. G. Nick, to the quality, right? If you're
Yeah,
taking poor quality types of fiber sources, that's just not going to translate well. So,
right.
I know you espouse this as well. It's like quality matters. Don't just look at any meat as meat, right? Any
Right.
animal source as that. Look into those things of how they are created, how they are raised, and everything. If someone's looking at animal sources again for increasing their magnesium, are there certain things you look for, certain companies or places that you're looking at, pasture raised versus grain fed, all these things? What do you look for?
I mean, the top tier is always going to be pasture raised
Yeah.
because that means they are set to pasture. And so they're grazing on fresh grass, they're getting, the worms, the bugs, etc. Your next best bet would be 100% grass fed. So they may be just sitting inside in a barn, but they're only consuming grass, which is obviously better than consuming grains. So one of the two, ideally. Top
Yeah.
tier pasture raised for eggs too. You want pasture raised. I don't ever eat non-pasture raised eggs. I think that's
Yeah.
the worst idea because it's high in omega-6. And so when you start veering from that, I don't think that's a good idea. But, animal foods, most of the time I try to consume pasture raised or 100% grass fed. Will I consume a regular burger out every now and then? Of course. So just do the best you can.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's always the best advice. It's like the most sensible, like put quality first, eat in moderation, all these things. Try it out too.
Yeah.
Understand that magnesium is so essential to so much, and it could be part of the problem of what you're dealing with if you have health issues, but put quality first.